Welcome back to Hammer Time Podcast. This is a college football talk show where we pretty much break down all of your games, all of your bets, and then your occasional friendly banter on the side. I am your host, as always, Cade, and alongside is my weekly colleague, Mr. Jake. I have on the board today, just recapping and reacting a fun, eventful week 0 that was quite slept on. A lot of people said these games kind of sucked. I'm just happy football's back, man. But yeah, we may not have had the best weekend in terms of a betting standpoint. I mean, how'd you do? I didn't.
Broke even.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say about the same because obviously we got our group ticket of Kansas State, but I also had some miscellaneous plays that I was kind of chatting with in the Discord with like Sam Houston's team total and some other stuff. Ended up buying in on Hawaii. I don't know. But yeah, broke even's all that matters. Started out even. Not the worst thing in the world. Yeah, like I said, not too much to pretty much get into deep today, but we're going to kind of give our reactions and our thoughts regarding the 4 games from this week. And then additionally, dive into slightly some of these upcoming weekday games that we have action on. I know I have action on a few. Jake has action on a few. We're going to give a slight breakdown. Not too crazy. They're not really any big show-stopping games. So let's get right into it. Starting off, we'll start out with the headliner with Kansas State and Iowa State. I'm curious on your thoughts on this one because everybody's different.
A very weird game. I know, I mean, it being raining and then it being in a different country, across the pond. It started out slow, which I think a lot of us kind of expected. It was way slower than I thought, with the 4 turnovers in the first half. And I think like the first half kind of went the way we kind of thought it was. I thought Iowa State had a really hard time moving the ball except for the one possession they had. It looked like at the end of the half, Kansas State had kind of figured something out offensively, but I think both teams really figured something out in the second half, especially Iowa State. I mean, yeah. I think they had 60-something rushing yards in the fourth quarter. Rocco Becht looked really good. It just seemed like Kansas State's defense kind of wore down, kind of just gave up on them, which was something that we talked about. The offense was going to have to win them the game, and unfortunately for Kansas State, the fourth down play calling I wasn't a big fan of, which I'm not an offensive coordinator. I don't do it for a living, so it's hard to ridicule coordinators because we're not in the room with them, but I did not love the last one specifically on your own 30, 4th and 1, and you run some
back-to-back halfback dives. Yeah.
No, it was Avery Johnson. I just didn't like it. I like keeping the ball in Avery Johnson's hand, but I'd rather give him an opportunity to throw the ball.
The one where he got macked. Yeah, that one. I forgot about that one. Sorry, I was thinking of the other 8 that didn't convert.
Yeah. And they didn't run the ball well, which was a surprise to me. Iowa State's defense.
They impressed me. I'll give them that. I'll give them that.
But I mean, Kansas State just can't get out of their own way. Did it again here, and it was a big reason why when we did the Big 12 preview, we talked about Kansas State not being in the top 3 or 4 because of this right here. This is what they do in big games.
Yeah. I wish I could just say, like, in terms of like our betting perspective, on paper, you're going to look at this Kansas State team and clearly say that they're the better team. But in terms of like longevity, in terms of like a coaching standpoint, I mean, Matt Campbell ran circles around Kleiman.
Oh, 100%.
It was absolutely unbelievable. Yeah, it's. I mean, if you're Kansas State in this case, I guess there's some good and bad, more so the bad than the good. But your D-line is an absolute force. The noise that they made in that first half, including some of the second half, obviously, like you said, they wore down, but they're a force. They're going to be a force.
Yeah.
But that rest of the defense they got to figure something out because as bad as Rocco Becht was in that first half in terms of an accuracy standpoint, I mean, their wideouts were dropping balls like left and right, and like they were giving them possessions after possession, and they just never failed to stop them on third downs, which was a big thing. I don't know what the numbers were side by side, but third and fourth down combined, it was just god awful. Like it
they both
it
were.
was completely lopsided. Yeah, but I'm like I said, I'm not really too high on Iowa State. I don't necessarily think that this. I will say it hurts Kansas State stock more than it does hurt Iowa State's because I think they both look bad. But then again, it's week 0. I'm not going to come to any crazy conclusion just yet. But
No,
I just
fools react to week 0.
Right. Iowa State's offense is just so different to where I don't know how to feel because last year you're so used to Noel, you're so used to Higgins, and now you're relying on these 4 to 3 yard gain by Carson Hansen and then a short slant or a short out, and then that's your offense. That's pretty much about it.
Yeah, I think Campbell's kind of going back to those early Iowa State. I think this is going to be such a defensive-led team, and you can look and, I mean, I'm looking at it right now, like, Kansas State had 383 yards of offense. Like, that's not a huge number, but it's a good number. They were 21 of 30 for passing. Avery Johnson was 9.1 yards per pass. They ran for 110 yards on 27 carries. That's 4.1 yards per rush. That's a pretty decent number. Like the defense for Iowa State, like I said, impressed me, but also like Kansas State outgained them and pretty much killed them from a passing perspective. So I wonder if Iowa State's going to be that bend don't break defense, and then you just get opportunistic with turnovers and things like that, because I agree. I don't think either of these teams impressed me. I'd say Iowa State's in the driver's seat, though, to win the Big 12 right now, because that's a big win. It's a huge win in week 0, especially with what you have coming down the road. Like that this was a big one because looking at the schedules past this, Iowa State's got, Iowa in 2 weeks and then some big Big 12 games. Kansas State has nobody for the next 4 weeks. So like if Kansas State had won this game, they probably would have started the year 5-0, which would have been huge. Now, 4-1 with a conference loss is a lot different.
Now you got to bounce back. And I mean, I don't know a status on Dylan Edwards either, but I mean, I don't think that really helped matters.
I don't think it helped, but
I don't think it would have made a difference.
I think they still ran the ball at a good clip. The fumble was unfortunate by Joe Jackson.
Yeah.
But Joe Jackson was 12 for 51. Honestly, kind of disappointed in how they ran Avery Johnson. 8 for 21. Just not great numbers. I'm glad that they ran him 8, but I would have liked to seen maybe 11 or 12 rush attempts for him. So
right.
But I think they ran the ball effectively without Dylan. It's unfortunate Dylan got hurt, but also, I don't know.
It's frustrating. It really is, just because when we had a bet on them, and we were just so confident. I mean, honestly, I didn't think it was going to be. I knew it was going to be less than a touchdown possession, but
100%.
Iowa State,
especially in the fourth quarter. I think that's literally what I said.
Right? Yeah, literally. It's just. I can't believe what I saw at 12 o'clock last Saturday. It was a great game, phenomenal game. If you're a fan, great. It was amazing.
But I would say I still think Kansas State was the right side.
Oh, it absolutely was.
If I went back, I'd still take Kansas State again. I know Iowa State's win expectancy was 99%, but I still would take Kansas State again. It's hard to see those 4 turnovers the way that they happened. And
it's just that's unlucky at that point. Which that's the game, that's the industry, but whatever. But
yeah, but I think Iowa State's in the driver's seat for the Big 12 right now, because I know a lot of people didn't think they were going to win that game. A lot of people chalked it up as a loss before it started. I mean, you look at Iowa State's schedule; it's South Dakota, Iowa, Arkansas State. Then you get into conference play, and your first 3 conference games are Arizona, Cincy, and Colorado.
I mean, there's a 3-0 start, pretty almost, I would say.
And then BYU at home.
It looks good.
I think it's going to come down to Arizona State at home November 1st in that loaded week.
Big game. Yeah.
So
I will say, if I am Arizona State, if I am Utah, if I am Texas Tech, for that matter, any of these other middle ground Big 12 teams, I mean, if you watch that game, I mean, you got to be feeling pretty good You know what I mean? Like, I get
To
this
play these
overseas,
two, yeah.
but it's just like, if they look like that, like I said, I'm feeling pretty good about my Utah ticket right now. Honestly, I still think that's like it might be theirs to lose, but given
Yeah,
that
it's week 0 though. We'll see.
that's why I said I'm not trying to overreact that early. So I mean, I'll hold my horse and I'll let them fix out their issues, and we'll maybe revisit it in about maybe 4 or 5 weeks. So
Yeah, but props to Iowa State.
for sure. Next game that was on was arguably never mind. Oh, I guess you could say that. Yeah, arguably one of the more fun offenses that we saw, second to Kansas, I should say, was Western Kentucky hosting Sam Houston, and this kid Maverick McIver can freaking ball, bro. He was slinging. But yeah, basically, we got a preview of what this offense is going to look like in the Conference USA, and it's going to be electric. The amount of points, the amount of overs, I can just see it now. It's then again on the other side, as Sam Houston State, their defense does not look good at all. It's going to be very, very Swiss cheese. And as for other Conference USA opponents, in a big game next week as well when they host UNLV, should be really interesting the way they bounce back from allowing that much damage to them. But because Western Kentucky, they averaged 7.5 yards per play that were all resulting in a near 0.4 EPA per dropback, which is in an 85th percentile, which is, if you don't understand numbers, that's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I had an under 69.5 ticket on this game. So we were under 59.5, I think. So we were sweating for a minute there. At the end of the game, but yeah, Western Kentucky's offense looked really good. Defense looks really bad. Vice versa, kind of for Sam Houston. I thought Sam Houston actually played pretty well. They didn't throw the ball well, from like a yardage standpoint, but efficient passing, 19 of 30, 7 yards per pass is not nothing. It's not terrible. They ran the ball extremely well on Western Kentucky. I mean, 5.6 yards per carry is pretty good. I'd take that any day of the week. They just couldn't get a third down. 2 for 14 on third down, over 3 on fourth down. That's not good. So I like the fight that they showed. I don't know if I'll be backing Sam Houston, but I do like some Sam Houston overs this year, I think.
Yeah.
Same with Western Kentucky. I think they're going to be in shootouts. So, like you said, I think it was a fun game. Good to get to watch some of these teams because you're going to be hard pressed to find these teams playing on TV in the coming weeks. So, it was fun.
Probably going to be one of your more fun like weekday teams to just sit down and watch after work or something. But I know he has a massive game. I think it's Toledo. So that'll be a really fun one to watch if we get the same offense that was there on that Saturday. So
yeah, that's right.
Definitely look forward to that. But yeah,
that and they play LSU at the end of the year.
True. Given LSU's defense and their struggles last year, that might be they might be putting up.
Yeah,
I wouldn't hate to see that. Speaking of bad defenses, though, we have none other than Dan Mullen's debut at UNLV. Going up against Idaho State, is FCS Bengals. Yeah, this is gross. God help your UNLV fan base if you're in Vegas, dude. That's got to be tough to look at that. But because yeah, they don't even know their QB situation now. Like they thought they had it figured out with Orgy, Calandria, and now it's just you're pretty much back to square one. So I don't know if Dan Mullen might have missed something, but it's just not there. So, but yeah, the defense, I think, in my opinion, is probably going to allow the most points in the history of the school at that rate that they're at right now. And it's going to be one of the worst group of 5 defenses that we've seen in a long time, is what it looks like right now. But that was bad. That was bad.
Yeah, I talked about it in the group of 5 pod. Like, I don't trust Dan Mullen because he doesn't want to recruit. So I didn't trust all the guys that left and then the transfer portal. Like, did not like what they brought in. No one likes Alex Orji. If you can find an Alex Orji fan other than his family, I'd be hard pressed to believe that.
Harsh.
I do think they found the quarterback they should use, because he was a lot better. I mean, the offense looks awesome.
The offense shifted as soon as they went with Coindry towards the end.
Which, I mean, of course, it's Idaho State. We knew Idaho State's defense was going to be terrible. So, like, how does this look against a Mountain West team? I really don't know. Having to resort to trick plays early on in the game. I mean, I think their first offensive snap was a trick play against an FCS team. So
they would have used both of them, yeah.
I think Dan Mullen knows that this team probably isn't very good, and he's going to have to come up with some pretty resourceful ideas. So that would be my guess. Offense looked good. 8 penalties for 90 yards is not a good look in your first game. 3 for 12 on third down is pretty terrible. Like, it just... once again, I'm not going to overreact to a week 0 game, but I do not like the way that this team is trending for a Mountain West run again. It looks like it possibly could be Boise and San Jose State more than it's looking like UNLV.
Yeah, I'm not happy if I'm Dan Mullen. And yeah, like I said, the same thing for Sam Houston. I mean, they have to bounce back now going to Sam Houston this coming week. I mean, I'm not saying that that's going to be a dogfight of a game. I mean, they're still favored by like 11 and a half, I think, something like that, which we'll get into that later too. But
10.
It's just, yeah, I mean, everybody's on Sam Houston right now too, which is just funny. Like, I mean, I don't blame them, quite frankly. I really don't. But
I mean, WKU's like the same. WKU's probably a better team than UNLV is.
I would say so. I would definitely say that.
They ran the ball well, though, so that bodes well for
something to look forward to, I guess, if you need a backup plan, if your passing game doesn't work like it usually does. But yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I trust Mullen. I think he'll figure it out.
Yeah, I like his experience better than... I loved Odom, don't get me wrong, but his experience...
Odom's awesome.
Dude, yeah. And it just sucks that he took everybody with him. But that's kind of what's going to tear this UNLV team down. But unfortunately, that's college football. So
yeah,
you have a good time, Mr. Dan Mullen. Next is probably my favorite offense that I watched this weekend. I'm not sure about you, but I enjoyed this game, even though I was kind of leaning to the other side. But Kansas hosting Fresno State. Jalen Daniels, he's healthy. He looked fantastic. And when he's healthy, it's just better for college football. I think this dude's electric, and I think this offense is going to make some really, really big noise in the Big 12 if they stay healthy. And the defense played a lot better than I expected it would. I mean, they shut Fresno State down and down. And it's, I mean, obviously I didn't have Fresno State, and I did lean that way. Like, I'll hold my hand up there. Yeah, like I was really close to pressing that button if I didn't have such a bad number. I don't think the number mattered at that point, but obviously. I mean, their Kansas's defense did exactly what I said that they needed to do to pretty much cover that spread. And I mean, they forced turnovers, they made some big plays, and yeah, in a new stadium like that was pretty sweet. So props to them. Congrats. Now you finally have a healthy quarterback.
For now.
For week 0.
Yeah, I don't know if it was Friday or Saturday when we talked about it, when I said I wanted to take that Kansas under. It was so hard to see Fresno being able to move the ball consistently.
Yeah.
Like, it was always going to be difficult to see that. And as much as we thought Kansas was, hyped up to play, and we still knew that it was going to be kind of a work in progress, especially with the passing game, which Daniel's efficiency was great, but I mean, it's not like he hit 300, 400 yards. He didn't even throw for 200. So it was a big running game. Which, I mean, they had 4 plays over 20 yards. I think that's a good start. I like that. Defense, like you said, played well. They were able to kind of dominate from the jump, which was great for them. And they really started it in like the first quarter. Like, I mean, they were up 21-7 early.
Yeah.
So They look good. And I think you're going to see a lot of buy on Kansas after that game.
I think so too.
I think Kansas is for real if Jalen's healthy.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I know I have their under win total, but I mean, at that point, I'm practically gambling on an unhealthy team, which that's historically what we've seen in the Kansas team, which, I mean, I don't really think it's necessarily a bad pick, especially their schedule too. It's not necessarily the most favorable, but I think if they, like you said, if they stay healthy, I mean, they're going to be a team that's either playing spoiler a lot, or they're just going to be one of those middle ground Big 12 teams that usually ends up around 8-4 range. That usually ends up right there. So I don't think it's a bad reach at all. They should be a fun team, though, for sure.
Two things I got to clean up is third downs and penalties. 9 for 72.
That was rough.
Pretty bad for penalties. 2 for 10 on third downs. Pretty bad. And then Fresno, kind of, I mean, like we said, kind of what we expected. Couldn't run the ball. Didn't really throw it well. Just not. I mean, 2 interceptions. Very dink and dump down the field. So be curious to see them play a team more to their caliber, because I do think they're still like a decently good Mountain West team. So
I agree.
And I think it was I like the test for Kansas offense, because I think Fresno State's defense is good.
Absolutely. Last game of the weekend, which was on the island. I'm sorry, Hawaii hosting Stanford. Can we get a round of applause for the Brotherhood, huh? The Rainbow Warriors.
No.
Yeah, no, probably not. Yeah, I mean, Hawaii looked, I don't want to say they looked good. I don't want to say Stanford looked awful. As expected, though. That's a 3.5 win total. That was one of your games that you pretty much have to win in order to either, it's one of your swing games, I should say. And that was just a bad coin flip on their part. Because I think I have Hawaii's under 5.5 as well. But yeah, I don't think Branson is the guy at all. There was some weird decision making all throughout that entire game where he should have probably had 3 to 4 picks and then just kind of dropped. But I will say, what Frank Reich has done to the running game is much improved. That looked a ton different. That looked like the Bryce Love, David Shaw days type stuff. Like I loved watching that. And I kind of miss it because Stanford used to be competitive as a Notre Dame fan. I loved that game. Looked forward to it. But just kind of weird. The defense, I think they showed out and made some early plays. It's just the offense didn't really help them out much in the late runs of the game. And I don't think they could hold him off just long enough. So, but Micah looked good. I think he can throw the ball if he kind of stays healthy. I know he kind of got hurt at the end, whatever that was. Yet, if he took a zone read, he's sprinting, full sprint, 30 yards down the field, and then comes back limping to the huddle. But whatever. But yeah, I don't think there's really much to say about either two of the teams. I think they're both pretty bad. It's just Hawaii looked fun, so.
Yeah, I think this is just 2 bad teams, which is entertaining for a week 0 game.
It was awesome, yeah.
It was great. The back and forth was great. I think Hawaii's going to be able to throw the ball, obviously, but still can't really run it.
Shocker, yeah.
Defense, like you said, looked good, but I think that has more to say about Stanford than it does say about Hawaii. They did not stop the run, which is not good with who Hawaii will play throughout the season. So I think nothing changed in my mind of either of these two teams. I think they're both still pretty bad. I think Stanford might be worse than I thought, and Hawaii it might be the same. Because, I mean, scoring 22 points on this Stanford defense, don't love that. Because as much as I kind of hyped up the Stanford defense, or 23 points, but I didn't think they were going to be. I mean, I expected Hawaii to be 28-30.
So, the way that they can throw the ball, I feel like they should have, yeah.
Yeah, they just 3 for 10 on third, like these teams going. I don't think there was a team that was good on third down.
I think it's like the early sloppiness. It makes me want to think.
It always is. It'll fix itself.
Yeah, I was going to say, it'll kinks itself out eventually. It's just early on, it's hard to believe or hard to find the good in some of these games. But
yeah, I mean, 8 for 70, penalty-wise. They got dominated time of possession. I think their win expectancy was 99 or something like that, so it wasn't like they lucked into this win, but no way in hell your defense can sit out there for 36 minutes weekly, and you expect to win many games.
Going into some later weekday games, I don't know what you have on your board. I know you said you have a couple on. I only have 3 throughout the rest of the week, and I know we dove into some last week, so not really going to try to double hit on those. But if you have anything for this week, go for it for this Thursday and Friday.
All right. I still haven't placed the Baylor ticket. I'm waiting. I'm gonna probably wait to do that till tomorrow. So as you know, me and Cade are both going against each other for that with Dylan, also on Baylor. So I will be playing that. I will not have a play in Georgia Tech, Colorado. I will not have a play. Well, I have a play in Nebraska, Cincy. I'm playing the under 54.5 for that game. Kind of talked about it last pod. Just don't expect these offenses to look super good early. I think the defenses will be ahead of them, and I'm worried about like Cincy running the ball with the offensive line, and honestly, kind of throwing the ball. I think I'm just worried about consistency with Cincy and then Nebraska. Their passing attack, I don't know if it'll be there week 1. So playing the under there. I'm playing the over in a Missouri Central Arkansas game. It's at 51.5 at minus 115. I think Missouri probably puts up 50 by themselves. Drinkwitz is kind of known to run up the score in these kind of games just to try and get guys reps and not really let the foot off the gas. And I think they need to see both these quarterbacks play. So I expect them to be vanilla, but also have plenty of QB runs and passing. And then I'll also be playing Miami of Ohio and Wisconsin over. That's at 39.5, minus 110. I have this projected like 42, 43, so I think it's a good number. You're getting the key number of 40 and 41. I think both of those are key in right there. So I think Wisconsin should be able to put up like in between 28 and 30 points against Miami of Ohio. I know that like Wisconsin, I know a lot of people are down on Wisconsin this year, but it's more scheduling than it is the team. I think the team's actually pretty decent.
Yeah.
They just have one of the worst schedules in the
pretty bad.
Yeah. So I think they're off. They're going to run the ball a ton. I think they finally got back to that identity. So I expect them to be able to put up some numbers, get some touchdowns in there. And then I think Miami of Ohio can get a couple, maybe 2 touchdowns, maybe 10, 13 points. So I think it'll be pretty safe on the over there. And those are the 3 I have right now for Thursday and Friday.
Yeah, obviously Saturday we'll get into those in our later week episode, but probably recording will be uploaded on game day. So obviously want to get these out before the game starts and stuff. I almost had a play in that Wisconsin Miami Ohio game, except I honestly I still lean really heavy Wisconsin.
I like Wisconsin.
17. I don't think it's necessarily just a bad number. It's just more so of me like wanting to believe that they're going to cover by 3 touchdowns. Yeah, Miami's both front units are supposed to be god awful this year. Like projected like probably the worst in the MAC compared to last year, which is kind of hard pill to swallow for any fans there. But if there are any, I've never. I mean, in my area, yeah. No. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still kind of leaning around that one. Like I said, if you follow the action, it'll probably be there eventually. But don't get your hopes up too much. I don't think I want to risk my entire bankroll in week 1 college football season. So
no, not really.
My first game that I have is actually going to be involving another Big Ten school with a MAC school, except this is Rutgers and Ohio. This is a Thursday game. It's a night game. I went ahead and I grabbed that Rutgers early line at 13.5 for minus 115 on FanDuel. I'm very worried about OU's. Same thing as Miami. fronts on both sides of the ball, really. I mean, I think that both teams lost a ton of production, and I think it's just not going to really be enough to do bounce back from. Rutgers can definitely do damage with how talented their D-line is, and definitely we've seen how good they were with, I'm going to mispronounce his last name, it was Kyle Monangai.
I don't shout out Brendan, Kyle Monangai.
Too, low-key. But yeah, they opened up gaps for him all year last year, and he became one of the more slept-on running backs in the Big Ten last year. But I expect them to get the run game active and early. I project OU to have one of the bottom defensive units overall in the conference. So I'll take my chances in an exciting opening night for Rutgers. I think 2 touchdowns is a pretty easy ask here in this case. I think they kind of just take control and move the ball pretty well. Next one is actually involving the UNLV Sam Houston game, which is on Friday. And this one is kind of a given. UNLV, backtrack. I do have the over 60.5. This is minus 105, also placed on FanDuel. UNLV with a total of 17 total tackles last Saturday night against Idaho State and FCS Idaho State. They let Idaho State put up 550 total yards on this team, and they were allowing 7.2 yards per play. And as for Sam Houston State, obviously this new look offense, they do have some slight upside. I like the way that, like you were saying, Hunter Scott, McCaskill, I like the way they ran the ball. They both had a 50-yard run for a touchdown. They look good. And they also technically outgained Western Kentucky in a yards per play battle as well. Only the battle they won, but 6.3 yards per play is a decently good number to be at if I'm Sam Houston State early in the year. Given their offensive history, they're not necessarily known for that. But they got the ball around a lot. I think Elijah Green looked good as well. I mean, they have a solid running back room, it looks like, overall. I think they had a bad turnover in the red zone, obviously. And then, like you were mentioning, combined 2 and 17 on 3rd and 4th downs hurt them in that game. But if they can kink around the mistakes, they can just start converting, which I expect them to on UNLV. I think we should relatively see them in the end zone a little bit more often. So I'll take my chances with potentially the worst defense in the group of 5 versus the second worst defense in the group of 5. So we'll see. We'll see how that one goes. Third and final one for me is going to be in San Jose, California, with one of the more fun offenses of the Mountain West, hosting Central Michigan. So I have San Jose State minus 11.5, minus 110, placed on a local book, Bali, for my Ohio folk. This passing attack, I went through this in my group of 5 preview because of how so high we are on San Jose. Passing attack's expected to be very, very, very talented this year. Yet again, despite losing Nick Nash, doesn't really mean too much. It's not really that big of a loss in terms of a talent standpoint, sure, but you're keeping almost everybody except him. So I just think it's simply going to be too much for Central Michigan. One, given the travel for a long opener. Statistically, I do know that group of 5 opponents that are traveling across 2 time zones relatively do not do good early in the season. I do think Central Michigan is better this year. I did say that in my MAC preview as well, but I just don't think the tempo. I think San Jose's tempo is too much for Central Michigan. I don't think they really keep up at all. But yeah, and even then on the other side of the ball, San Jose State is projected to be one of the best in the Mountain West. And they're the projected top 3 in that unit overall. And yeah, like I said before, they're one of my favorite group of 5 sleeper teams this year. I love them to absolutely roll. The model likes it up to 14. So if you're seeing these 12s and 13s, I would still take it. Anything past 14 is probably where I stop though. But that's where we're at.
I like all 3.
Definitely nothing too crazy. Like I said, I went over every other one of my weekday bets in the last episode with Auburn money line, Buffalo plus 17, about to have a point there. Georgia Tech minus 3.5. That's pretty much it. I think that is it. So come to find out, Thursday we get weekday football this early in the year. It's pretty fun, and they're actually not too bad of games. There's going to be a couple decently solid ones in there, so definitely look forward to that. I feel like we're missing a ton this episode because of how short it was, but there's just like nothing really much more to go over because recap for week 0, you're recapping 4 games. So
Yeah, true. I did kind of want to talk about the SEC moving to 9 games.
yes, we can hit on that.
As you guys are probably already know, since it happened, Thursday or Friday?
Yeah.
SEC moving to 9 games. It'll be 3 opponents stay the same every year. So you switch to 6, so you will play every team every 2 years, and then every team home and away every 4 years. And then they also mandated that you have to play a 10th Power 4 game. So for most SEC schools, that's not a problem. I think there's one. No, I think every SEC school plays one this year. So just keeping competitive balance. I think at the end of the day, the reason they did this was because the SEC wants to move to 16 team playoff, and they also wanted that strength of schedule metric in the playoff, and that's what they were waiting on. And now that the committee finally announced that they're doing that and switching it, that they're perfectly fine going to 9. So you're 100% going to see a 9-3 team in the playoff this year. I can tell you that right now.
Right. It's one of the better things. Like, the best part about this is, like, same thing from an alignment standpoint. The winners here are definitely the fans. I mean, like, if you're a fan standpoint, entertainment, from looking at that kind of aspect, it's huge. I mean, I looked into it a little bit because I know I did some slight note taking before we did that. And obviously there's not really much time between, but I noticed A&M still hasn't hosted Georgia in College Station, even though they joined the conference, what is that now, 12 years ago?
Yeah, 2013.
Yeah, and it's just, if there's one, I mean, if you're removing your non-SEC games and adding more conference games, it likely continues that, like, ticket hike trend, making probably more expensive for tickets and stuff like that. If you're a actual person that goes to these games, it's going to get pricey because there's going to be some big games here. So, which kind of sucks for me because I still haven't gotten a chance to see a game in Neyland, so that's going to be probably long out of the picture. But
they're not that bad, but it's the price you pay to go see good football.
That is true. That's a fair standpoint. I think obviously the bad part, if you're looking at this from actually inside the conference, the teams that are at the bottom of the pile, typically, so like your teams that are barely just trying to make a bowl game half the time, the math just got a whole lot harder for these guys. I mean, for the path to at least get to 6, it's a lot more challenging, and naturally you get more money that way, but it's difficult to consistently fill your stadiums that way and get donors to pay that much when you're not winning. And it's hard to kind of wrap your mind around. And it's something that I kind of like to think when schools make these kind of moves solely for the financial reason of it. And I mean, that's probably the root cause of all of this, and for being completely real. And because you have your powerhouses naturally now. It's Texas, Bama, Georgia. You're getting that same extra money as you, which is just nuts. And now they're getting the same as Arkansas, same as Mississippi State. But it just doesn't positively change the equation for your schools at the bottom of that kind of pile. But great for rivalries, bad for the Big Ten in a way. I think if that's anything, I kind of don't like it for them, but it'll turn out good. I'm hoping it will.
Yeah, a couple other things. It'll be interesting who the 3 permanents are for each team, who gets like lucky draw and whatever. Curious to see who they have for some of those teams. I'm not going to sit here and try and guess all 16. That's a waste of my time personally. You're going to get your 3 main rivals for the most part, except for South Carolina, Kentucky. Those teams don't really have 3 rivals in the conference, so we'll see who they get.
Yeah, it's kind of rough when you look at it from that standpoint because they have rivals like Louisville, Clemson, South Carolina. I mean, like stuff like that. It's like I don't know if they've talked about that much. If there's a chance of them losing that kind of game, I don't know if you.
No, that's the 10th. That's the 10th that's the 10th Power 4 game.
Okay,
you don't have to schedule outside that. You can keep those, and
those
are staying. I think those will always stay. I don't think they'll take those out of conference rivalries away just because they mean so much.
Right.
But I think that it will be interesting. I'm glad we are doing this for rivalries. Like, I was going to be really sad to see Tennessee Bama not happen anymore, or even like LSU Florida or Ole Miss LSU. Like, those games were going to go away next year. So I'm glad we're finally got to something. I think this is where it stops. When it comes to like scheduling differences, I think we'll finally get to normalcy. And I hope, like you, one thing I did want to say with the Big Ten, we're looking at you, Indiana. How about you schedule some harder games?
Mr. Signetti, you're on the hot seat.
And it's not just Signetti; it's the Big Ten in general.
And overall, yeah.
I mean, I think I was looking at it the other day, like Washington, Oregon, USC, UCLA, and Michigan do a great job of scheduling out of conference. Everyone else kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Like Penn State, nobody.
Never. Yeah.
Ohio State, normally, not really. Like, kind of. They've had some bigger ones. I know they had Notre Dame. Actually, take that back. Ohio State's done a decent job.
They've had one. They've gotten better, I will say. It's nothing like Marshall or Akron every year now.
Yeah. But, like, get a 10th Power 4 team.
It's
like,
not hard.
Why is Penn State playing some of these people? Why is Indiana doing this? Like, just because the SEC was at 8 games doesn't mean you have to go schedule 3 FCS teams, because you can. Just so you can get in the playoff.
I was about to say, like, just given the playoff regulation now, I feel like you can risk. And I don't even want to call it risk. It's just I don't
play better games.
Point, it sounds cowardly, but
it's what we want.
Yeah, it's become like then you're pretty much becoming one of the most boring conferences in the sport. Then at that point, and it's you're going to lose that argument 10 out of 10 times now, at least.
Agreed. So, like the Big 12 does a great job, and I think the ACC does too.
Yeah,
they schedule each other, which I think is really good. It's like the Big 10 just won't. It's like half the Big Ten teams understand that they should play big games, and half of them don't. So I'm hoping that the reaction from the Big Ten is, let's do the same as the SEC. Let's make it mandatory to play a 10th Power 4 team. Let's try and make everything as even as possible so we can make this playoff thing like not an argument.
Right.
Because let's be honest, none of us want to tune into that Tuesday show for an hour. I don't want to watch that. No one does. It's it's literally for them to get money, for ESPN to make money. So I would rather 100% we just release them like the AP Bowl every week. And we don't I don't need all these guys discussing who should be in and who should be out. I don't care that they're the 12 seed or the 13 seed. It doesn't matter.
It's a lot to take in, especially this early with something that's pretty much like just happened. It's just funny of how long it took to come to this, or like what it made to like the point to realize she's like, you know what, maybe you're right. Maybe we do need to do this.
Well, I think they realized it because the only way they were going to get to 16 teams in the playoff was to do this.
Right.
Because I think the Big Ten finally agrees to it now. Which we'll see. Because, I mean, we'll know in December? I think is when they have to renew the new one. So we'll find out probably before the season ends, I think. So
I was gonna say, I am like wondering like what changed, like what just clicked all of a sudden. You know what I mean? It's just
for the SEC.
Yeah, it's just
they wanted the strength of schedule metric to change,
which I get, but it's just like why now? You know what
because
I mean?
They announced it a week ago.
I get that too.
They literally have been waiting for it for months. They were always going to go to 9.
Right. And then how long until we see the Big Ten or the ACC or even the Big 12? I quite frankly, the least likely to do that, I think, is the Big 12, just because of the amount they already do. But yeah, Big Ten's. I feel like the Big Ten's got to be next, or they figure out something next. I should say. It might not be as good, but it might be something. I guess progress.
Yeah, there's a response to the response eventually. They may wait till after the season, but I mean, I think it'll be in the language for the playoff.
Right.
I think it's something that needs to be talked about. I don't think you should be allowed to get in if you play 3 group of 5 teams.
Yeah, which says a lot about Notre Dame too, which what scares me even more. But then again, I mean, they've already came out and said the same thing, that it solidifies their independence, which I get. I mean, why would you now? I mean, you know what I mean? There's practically no point if all the other conferences are going to follow this. And it's gonna piss some people off too, because they hate that. They absolutely do. But
I'm perfectly fine with Notre Dame getting in. They should play harder games.
Right. As a fan, I've said the same thing. Like, granted, I'm happy with playing Boise State this year. They're a playoff team last year, but I mean, still, that's not like.
No, I like the games this year. I like Miami. I like.
I love it this year specifically. I love
Boise.
it. And even like speaking of like next year or the years to come, but like the Michigan State rivalry comes back. I mean, although they're not great, I know they play Michigan, and next year in like 2033 is the next year that they play them. It's just, I know they have a home and home with Bama. I think they have a home and home coming up soon with Florida.
I mean, they tried this year. Arkansas, US. I mean, I know they play USC every year. It's not their fault that every one of their rivals has just been terrible lately.
Right. Yeah, that doesn't help much either. It's the thing. You have Pitt, you have Purdue, you have Michigan State. Michigan's the only one. Yeah, Stanford. Michigan's the only one that's like not necessarily even there anymore. USC's slowly going down the drain.
Hey, they're back. Maybe.
I don't know. It's interesting though, because I mean, there's a lot. It's a touchy subject for a lot of people because they don't like the fact, or they don't want to accept that. Which, like I said, I get it. I see both sides, but at the end of the day, what are you gonna do?
I mean, here, let's look at it. So, like 2026, it's Wisconsin, Michigan State, North Carolina, USC, Miami, SMU, Florida State, Syracuse. Those are 8 good games. 2028, Texas, Arkansas, Purdue, Virginia Tech, Clemson, Boston College, Miami, Pitt. It's pretty good. And then this is a gauntlet. 2029, Bama, USF, Texas, NC State, Georgia Tech, Florida State, Wake, Navy, Syracuse, Clemson.
Oh no.
Get ready to learn 7 and 5, buddy.
We're so back.
Hey, you guys play Indiana in 2030. Good.
Really good, actually. What about in 2031? Is that a home and home? Oh my god, it is.
Yeah. That's a home. Sweet. That's a home and home. You play Clemson every year.
So Florida starts in 2031 then. I knew that was coming up.
Yeah, Florida does. Texas starts in 2028.
I think they've made Clemson like a rival, but they just don't have a name for it yet. It's kind of weird.
I mean, they've had some great games. So.
Oh, it's amazing. I would call it a rivalry right now.
Yeah. I think it's kind of like the Georgia-Bama rivalry. It's not a rivalry, but it's a rivalry.
Right. It's a lot to look forward to.
I'm proud of these conferences and these teams learning how to schedule.
Definitely. Definitely.
So yeah, exciting stuff. Hopefully they don't screw us all over with a terrible playoff, and we just get some good regular season games, because that's what college football is about.
So we're scheduled with Clemson starting at like 2028, all the way through
10 years straight.
Good God! Oh, it's 2027. It starts. Wow. Okay, you know what? Good for them. I'm happy about that. Yeah, I thought it was going to be a lot worse, but obviously I know the SEC opponent's coming later on. Whatever. If there's anything else, I think I don't really know. I think that's pretty much about it. That at least we all had planned for. Like I said, it's week 0. There's not really too much to discuss as of right now. I'm excited for the next episode. We definitely get to break down as many games as we pretty much want to until we're tired of it. And then, yeah, hopefully we have that up by, I'm planning on Thursday, I think is what we kind of talked about. So, yeah, that's pretty straightforward from there. That's about all we have for today. We will see you guys. Looks like, yeah, as of now, it's planned to be Thursday. So, peace and blessings. Hope you guys didn't lose too much money on our bets from last week, but hopefully Thursday and Friday treat you well, bankroll builders, and get you ready for the weekend. We will be back then. So, yeah. Appreciate you guys. Looking forward to a great season yet again. And, well, see you Thursday.